Marky Worthington Podcast all day.
All day.
Dream by night.
Don't buy me a drink. Just give me $10.
All day.
Go down to the strip club with your floppy disk and turn it into a hard drive.
Yeah, right. You'll get fucking thrown out by Big Tony.
We're here to name names and make people feel more ashamed for shit that they're not proud of.
Don't blow it. Keep it simple. Count your money.
No, whatever it is.
Welcome to episode 78 of the podcast.
78, wow.
Jack was 77, so you are the next cap off the rank. I think it was about a year ago you were on here last time.
I did follow him in birth
Yeah.
year as well.
Yeah, exactly. I just basically do this in
next one in line, yeah.
chronological order. Actually, you can pull your mic down and tilt it up like this so I can
Oh,
yeah, see you better.
Can see a bit.
You're just talking to the mic stand. Yeah.
And next episode you can get Sophie on. Just
Yeah. No, actually I've already got something lined up. Yeah, no. I've got Kai lined up for the next episode. It's kind of become a bit of a tradition where I have Kai for the last episode of the year and we just do like an end of year wrap up.
Christmas episode.
But yeah, all right, so people that either know or don't know, I'm telling you anyway, had Dave on the episode last time, but yeah, you got Dave the Soundy on, or Soundy Dave as I call you in the videos on the podcast. Yeah. I think last time we did this was at the start of the 2021 lockdowns. I already planned it, but it just looked like I was a cheap fuck that didn't organise a guest. Yeah. Which coincidentally is what happened this time, but last time... but it's good to have you on the show, man. You got a bit more stories than normal. You just got back from a trip to New Zealand. How was that?
Oh, it was great, man. 3 weeks away on the land of the long white cloud, as they call it.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Is that because all the vapes come from there?
Yeah, that's exactly why they named it that.
Yeah. Before vapes were invented, they just knew.
They knew that was the purpose of it.
Is it because that's how it's shaped?
To supply nicotine to Australia.
Yeah. Is that because that's how it's shaped, maybe? I don't know.
Something like that, yeah. It's, lots of snow, mountain ranges and stuff. It's just always cloudy. Something like that. I've got no idea.
Just bring up a quote with no context. Yeah, so tell us about the trip. Like, where did you go from? Like, land was the first spot.
So we landed in Queenstown.
Mm-hmm.
That's the tourist hotspot of the South Island of New Zealand.
Yep.
That's got all of your activities like the zip lines and bungee jumping and skydiving. Canyon swings, jet boats, all of the tourist attractions. Pretty much, you can find it all in Queenstown.
All the places the European people break their neck on.
Yeah. And it's great because you sign waivers, which means you can't sue them if you do hurt yourself.
So many people did try and sue them.
Well, it's kind of like... it's a lot more lax than Australia over there when it comes to safety. Yeah.
Someone's like laying in a stretcher, their head tilted to one side, and they're just showing them the paperwork before they get taken away.
Yeah. This was your consent.
Just before you head off, you remember signing this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so it's funny the way the laws are set up there, but you can't really sue anyone for anything. So so like all of the fun, dangerous stuff, you still get to do it over there. Like it's great. So that's where we touched down. Then we went to my mum's place over in Gore, which is down the bottom of the South Island. Yeah, that area. And then from Gore, we hung out there for a couple of days, chilled out. Then that weekend, we went to Oamaru, which is it's a very famous spot for its Victorian-era buildings. Because it's got all these... They've got this section called Whitestone City, and it's just this street full of Victorian-era buildings. The street's made of cobblestone. Yep. They film a couple of movies there.
Oh, yeah.
When they want
like
some...
Downton Abbey and shit.
Yeah, well, one of the Sherlock Holmes, I think they did some
really?
scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that spot.
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, something like
through
that.
there, yeah.
But yeah, it was fortunate timing actually because we didn't know it when we arrived, but there was actually Victorian Era Festival on the same weekend we went. So yeah, we just decided to join the festivities, and we jumped in the costumes because people were dressing up. So I just put on this set of overalls and an old timey flat cap, and just pretended to be like a
Peaky Blinder,
someone that shovels coal or street sweeper or just a generic worker. You know, that's the beauty about overalls is you can just take it and apply it to any labour job, and it's basically a high vis vest. Yeah,
people. The overalls are the high vis of the Victorian era.
Exactly.
So people always dress up with like Victorian era, like they're like a queen or a prince or some shit, and you just went for like...
I just went fucking coal shoveler. I don't need any fancy shit, bro.
Well, they're in high demand around Christmas for the naughty kids, so you probably score a bit of work over the next couple months.
I'd say so.
Yeah. So then,
they had a parade. It had like a steam tractor. Lots of people dressed up. Lots of people riding those penny farthings.
Oh yeah.
And for those who don't know what that is, that's the
Main bike.
Yeah, it's the old bikes with the giant front wheel and the little back wheel.
Yeah.
And there was a guy that was like doing tricks on those, like putting his legs over the handlebars and like no hands
Ludicrous.
and shit. Yeah, I was like, holy shit!
Dude, honestly, fuck that dude.
That balance, man.
I wouldn't. I'd be impressed if I seen someone do a backflip on one.
Just take it down to the fucking skate park and start doing jumps and shit.
Yeah, I just want to see someone at the Belco Bowl in a penny farthing drop in on the bowl. Oh man, all you'd see is that giant front wheel just fucking fly up into the air on the other side. The rest of the bike would be in the bottom.
Oh, that'd go funny.
Yeah, surely there's a video out there of someone doing it like a jump or something on one.
Maybe there must be.
Yeah,
I mean it's the worldwide internet.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty much a unicycle with an extra wheel, essentially.
Yeah, with a tiny little wheel on the back to help you steer it.
Yeah.
I think, which is quite funny. I think it's because the wheel, they basically took a unicycle and they made it too big so you can't lean and steer it.
Yeah.
So they had to add a little steering wheel to it. Like
it's such a weird design when you think about it.
It is. Like, why didn't they just go for a unicycle?
Yeah. They were just like, oh, a unicycle, let's make one with extra steps.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But
so
cool.
what was there people that were like super into it, like really dressed up and like cosplaying and shit?
Oh yeah. Yeah, lots of women in very extravagant dresses.
Yeah.
And the men were, well, there was some people who like confused Victorian era with steampunk and were dressed up half with steampunk.
Yeah. What's that Will Smith movie with the mechanical spider thing? What's that fucking?
Oh yeah, Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it was a good weekend. Had a lot of fun. And they were running an old steam train. They only run it once a year during that festival. And it's only for that day too.
Oh, yeah.
So, we got some tickets to that and had a ride on the steam train. Yeah, it was cool.
Did you start shoveling the coal? Like, I was just like, oh, fuck, he's dressed for it.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. When we were buying the tickets, the lady who was selling us the tickets just looked at me and goes, shouldn't you be up the front? You try and fucking infiltrate their system. You go and just you're like, where's clock on? You just go in. Just start working for free.
Yeah, exactly. See? The funny thing about that is people have planned their whole New Zealand trip over like just being in that point in that time.
Yeah.
And you just stumbled on it. You go, oh, fuck, yeah, right.
Yeah, like we had no idea it was on. But fortunately, my older brother Josh lives in Oamaru. So we're going to spend a couple of nights at his place. But yeah, it just happened to be on at the same time. And we were like, sweet, this works out well.
That's funny as fuck. So from there, what's the next spot?
Okay, so from there, we went up toward Christchurch, and the plan was to go to Christchurch, do a couple of museums, maybe an escape room or something.
Yeah.
But the passenger side window of the van we were driving decided that it didn't want to go back up anymore. So without being able to wind up the window, we couldn't really leave it anywhere in the city while we were doing stuff. So we just had to do a U-turn and drive like 4 hours back to Oamaru. Yeah, and then
That
we
rules out car washes too.
so desperately needed one.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. How else are you meant to have fun?
Yeah, so we just went back, stayed with my brother for a couple more days, and it was kind of a inconvenience on him because he had a couple of things planned that he had to can, but that's life.
Well, probably that's his life. Probably didn't inconvenience you guys at all. Why didn't you try?
Quite fortunate for us. Quite convenient.
Well, lucky, yeah. Did you guys So you hired a van?
No, so it's actually my mum and stepdad bought this camper van from an old camper van company that it used to be a rental, but they bought it just to sort of do around. So when the pandemic hit, all of those tourist businesses had suffered major losses and stuff, and a lot of them were selling off heaps of assets. So they got this camper van for like $3,000.
Yeah.
Like fully decked out in the back of it and stuff. It's only a two-seat,
There's been some
two-person
creepy
one.
Eurosex in there for sure. Dude.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. lot of German accents have been in that one.
It's pretty rank, but but it was, we got to use it for free, so
rank is outranked by free.
yeah. It was bad. There was like mold growing on the inside of the visors and stuff like that. Yeah. But anyway,
that's from all the steamy sex that was in there.
and it was like a 2003 model too, so it's like 20 years old at this point.
It's like the newest car you've ever driven, but it's still kind of old.
Yeah. But probably explains why the window broke down on us.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just had to take it back and get someone to look at it, and they fixed the window so that it was stuck up, but we couldn't wind it down. And then they said they ordered it in a part, so we just dropped it off back with my mum and stepdad, and said they can take it and get it fixed when the part comes.
Yeah, there's the. You did the hard yards anyway. Yeah. That's pretty crazy, dude.
Yeah, so instead of going to Christchurch, the next day after we got back from Oamaru, we decided to do a Dunedin, just a day trip in Dunedin. Dunedin is home to the world's steepest street, which is something I found out last time I went to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Didn't go there this time, but it's an interesting fact I thought I'd throw in there.
The world's steepest street isn't something you need to revisit, is it?
No, once you've seen it once, it's like...
yeah, it's pretty fucking steep.
I've already walked up it once.
Yeah, did you walk up it last time?
I walked partial way up. It's a very long street as well.
So it's not even just steep. It's like steep's okay for like 10 meters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it's like 500 meters.
When you look at it and you're like, man, nah, I've seen steeper. It's like like when you're younger and you see something like a street or whatever. Like when I was in Maria, I always thought Murray Street Hill was like the fucking brutalest hill you ever seen.
Yeah.
And then like as I got older, I was like, oh yeah, it's not actually as bad as I thought. Like,
yeah, it's not that steep at all.
Yeah, but I remember the first time I rode a push bike down there. It was fucking wild. So where we come from, there's this fucking hill. It's pretty steep, but it's not like it's not unmanageable.
Yeah.
Like you do it on a bike, but maybe not a skateboard. You know what I mean?
No, definitely not a skateboard.
Dude,
you get the death wobbles so quick.
But also at the bottom of the hill, there's a fucking T section. too. So
Yeah.
like someone could just pull straight out.
Yeah, so you want to use your brakes.
Yeah, you need to like be on the other side of the road or like use your brakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, a lot of people used to have to ride up the hill.
Imagine if you were on one of those old BMXs that just don't have brakes.
Dude, imagine doing it on a paddy Farley.
Dude, you know what's funny about those is the pedals are fixed to the rotation of the wheel.
Oh, so they go.
So there's no
as
free
quick as your
spin or
tyre
anything.
goes.
So yeah, they go as fast as the wheels go. But the only
Brake is to pedal backwards, right?
the only saving grace is because the wheel's so big, it takes so long to do a rotation.
Oh yeah,
That the pedals don't go that fast.
yeah.
But if you're going down a hill like that, it'd just turn into a fucking blender, and you just gotta hold your feet like
Out.
yeah, and just hope for the best.
Oh, I don't think the best is going to happen. Yeah, so world's steepest hill. How steep was it though? Like when you look at it,
It was pretty steep.
did it just look like road in front of you? Like it wasn't.
Kind of. It
Was it a road or just a hill?
yeah, it was.
Like
It was a
you
road.
actually drive up
like,
it.
Yeah, an actual street
Yeah.
of people living on it and stuff.
Imagine buying a house on that fucking street.
Yeah,
Every day, that's the hill you have to drive up.
yeah, that would suck. You'd want a decent car because not all cars can go up that steep.
Yeah,
yeah. Fucking takes me back to a memory. One time we were going up a street in Bateman's Bay, and I had me, my brother, Isaac, and one of his mates in the car, and I was driving this 1989 Ford Laser. It was like a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder. And it was dying up this hill. And three of us had to get out. Like the three passengers had to get out so I could drive it up the hill. Otherwise, I just didn't have it in it. So.
Oh, that's funny as fuck. And then at least you had people ready to push if it didn't.
Yeah. Just give it a helping
Just
nudge.
give it a little nudge.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's how people get ran over. Like when they get out to push a car and
And
like
it just rolls back.
rolls back. Yeah. Fuck, dude. Yeah, so from the world's steepest hill, then where?
Yeah, so we went to an escape room in
Oh, yeah.
Dunedin. This one was like mad scientists experimenting on mental patients.
They're always creepy, how they always have a bit of a like horror theme to them.
Yeah, a lot of them do. It's probably just to build the suspense or something.
Yeah.
But this one, yeah, it was like patient zero. Find out who patient zero is, and then while you're playing it, some virus gets released, and you have to find the antidote before the time runs out. Otherwise, you'll die.
It's like escape room COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it was similar to that. Well, it's actually they got the inspiration of that from the COVID pandemic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, basically, patient zero was
Fuck, we just got demonetized. We said the same word. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was fun. Then we went to a museum after that. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. What sort of museum was?
It was just a
Like a history one.
kind of it was just called the Otago Museum.
Okay.
It's kind of like the Australian Museum. It's got a mix of like
Everything.
wildlife and cultural stuff. And
I wouldn't spend a night there. All the shit comes to life, dude.
but yeah, it's basically a history museum.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that was good. And Josh, one of the nights, he told us this the next day, but he went for a swim with a date of his off the wharf, because Oamaru, it's on the seaside.
Yep.
And it's got this great big pier that they used to have cargo ships and stuff come in.
Okay.
But him and his date went for a swim, and they were jumping off the wharf, and him and the date went to run and jump off the wharf, and she suddenly stopped and yelled, "Shark!" And he already was in the air at that point.
Yeah.
And he actually landed on the shark.
Oh, dude.
It was like a 4 or 5 foot shark. He didn't know what type it was, but he saw the fins and stuff.
Fuck.
Because the water's actually quite cloudy, so it's interesting. They call it glacial flour.
Okay.
And it makes the color really nice, like this real nice turquoise color.
Yeah.
But it's not clear.
Okay.
it's actually very cloudy and misty.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's something I didn't know. Like, I always thought that turquoise colour, sort of from the photos and stuff, thought it was just very clear or something.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no, it's actually from glacial flower, whatever that is.
Yeah. Is it like a fungus or something? Is it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the term he used.
It's like blue-green algae, but just nicer.
Yeah, something like that. Not sure.
Blue-green algae sounds like, on a scale of how good it is, it's like a 2. Glacial flowering, that's like a fucking 8.
Glacial flower.
Yeah, yeah. If it was like the exact same thing, but you just named it differently, like.
Yeah, so anyway, the water was a bit murky, which is why he couldn't really see the shark.
Yeah.
But he saw the fins at the top, and he felt like it under him.
So he dived on it like Banjo.
He like bombed on it, and it just took off. Like he got straight out of there.
like
Yeah, so after that, he like went straight for the ladder too and got up and stuff. But yeah, it was quite funny.
That's fucking wild, dude.
Imagine jumping on a shark.
Yeah, yeah. Holy shit.
You can. I haven't done it, but
Well,
maybe I should add it to my bucket list.
Yeah,
Just hit up Sydney Aquarium, see if they'll let me jump.
Can
on
I
one of
ride
those
one of the
sharks.
hammerheads? But apparently, so I've heard a similar story. Someone surfing,
Yeah.
they got carried over in a barrel and they fell down onto a shark.
Yeah. Right.
And they said that they landed on it like literally like fucking like Crash Bandicoot when he's like riding the fucking dinosaurs or whatever.
Yeah.
Like a cowboy.
Foot either side.
And he said that it like took off so quick that it like grazed the inside of his thighs.
Yeah. Right.
Because apparently their skin is actually kind of not smooth.
Yeah,
it's
I've heard
rough.
it's like sandpaper.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Very rough.
So
Skin.
even through the rash, it like fucking grazed the inner thighs.
Yeah. Well. Okay.
Imagine that, like, the shark would be like, what the fuck just happened?
I got injured by a shark. Just a graze. I got injured by a shark.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, that's, so he got out of that. Okay. Did,
Yeah, the shark would be quite shocked and, like, stunned, I would say.
yeah, maybe it was like one of the sharks that's, like, made a conscious decision not to eat people, but now it's like, fuck it, you know?
Well, I was trying to go vegetarian, but...
Fucking, the shark's telling a different story. The shark's like telling the other sharks that it got like jumped on by a fucking fur seal.
I was just minding my own business.
Yeah, got fucking
Then out of
bombed.
nowhere, it got fucking mugged. Like.
So from there, what was the next spot?
So from there, it was across the Cromwell. Cromwell's kind of close to Queenstown. It's back over toward the west. But we did a bike ride there on some e-bikes, and this bike ride was about 47 kilometres long. It took about 6 hours. And
the e-bike lasted the whole time?
oh no, it ran out just as we were getting like into the last. So the whole thing is this big dirt track until you hit Clyde, which is one of the towns. Then you ride through Clyde, and the place to drop off the bikes is on the other side of the town.
Okay.
So mine ran out halfway through the town, which was like the last 10 minutes of the trip. So yeah, we were trying to be conservative because they've got 3 different modes on the e-bikes. They've got the eco mode, the trail mode, and then the boost mode. So the boost gives you like the most assistance.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but most of the time I tried to have it on eco or trail to save battery.
You never know when you'll need it. Right at the end, if you have to do it all manually.
Yeah, that's it. But there was a couple of bits where you just had to set it to boost, set it to the lowest gear, and just keep pedaling. And
Yeah. Okay.
and it was actually quite hard. Some of the hills you had to ride up and stuff. It was kind of like it went up the face of a mountain, but it was just zigzag road.
Yeah.
Up to you'd like climb that bit, and did that a couple of times.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was with Jack, Josh, Mum, and Dave, my stepdad, and Jack isn't a strong rider, so he had a few moments that he nearly went off the trail a couple of times, but he survived, so it's all good. But it's funny.
Does that make you wear a helmet being New Zealand? Did they just like fuck it?
It comes with a helmet, but I think it's optional.
See, fucking love that shit.
Yeah, but yeah, there was a few moments where the trail was kind of just next to like the edge of a cliff.
Yeah.
And like if you went off the trail, you would probably die. So Jack nearly died a couple of times, but he survived. But yeah, it was good fun. And about halfway
Would
through,
add his fucking car here forever, dude.
yeah, yeah, about halfway, there's this burger joint, but it's there like it's a boat,
Okay.
so it's a floating restaurant kind of thing.
Oh shit.
And yeah, it's just like this one flat spot that they set up on, but the only way to get there is by boat unless you ride the trail, because it's like along the side of this mountain that doesn't have any roads on it or anything. So
You're a pretty captive audience. like if you're hungry, and that's the only thing.
Yeah, it's the only option within 6 hours of like riding. But it was actually really good food too.
Yeah.
Like one of the best burgers I had while I was over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty cool. So they had 2 boats. They had like one which was like the kitchen, and then the other one which was like the checkout, like plus the coffees. It was like the cafe version, like the McCafe boat, and then the actual kitchen.
The actual thing. Is you go to the coffee one. You're like, oh, can I get a burger? You're like, yeah, sorry, you're on the wrong boat. You got to go over to the other boat.
Well, it was all like one restaurant. But it was just like divided into
Oh,
two
okay. I thought it was like
sections,
2 boats with like a plank between them. You just walk over to the next one.
Well, you do walk on it over a plank. But,
oh, really?
Yeah. But it's funny because like they're not big boats. They're actually like the cafe boat would have only been about 15 footer or something like that. You know, and when you walk on it, the whole thing like wobbles and stuff. Yeah. But they just got a plank that goes from the boat to the shore, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the little boat, you order your food there, and then the big boat is the one where you pick it up from. But the little boat's also just does the coffees and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going into too much depth on this fucking burger joint. So,
Did you just go to New Zealand to try this burger joint? That's how committed you are. You're just like, fuck it, Jack, we're going on a fucking 6-hour push bike ride.
Yeah.
Because I have to try the burger.
Yeah, but it was interesting. On this ride, they dropped us off on a bus. So we started in Clyde, then they got a bus with all of the bikes loaded onto a trailer and took us to Cromwell, and then we had to ride from Cromwell back to Clyde, but over the other side of a lake.
Right.
So there's a big lake that goes down the middle of them.
Yeah.
But when they were driving us to Cromwell, they were telling us facts about the trail and how it was made and like how they cut into it and stuff. And they said like some areas they had to get a helicopter to like hold wire in place so they could attach wire, all of that stuff.
Oh, is that Sony?
I'm not sure. I'll just have a quick look. Okay. All right.
All right, yeah, we're just going to take a quick break. Be back in a minute with the magic of editing. You get to continue on the conversation straight after this.
Stick around.
Please flip over the tape to side B to hear the rest of this podcast. We are back.
All right. Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right. Doesn't matter. They didn't want to fade. They just got to hear a cool little jingle between the 2 parts. They got a little break tune there.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so you were saying you were going for a ride. You were talking about some parts that were remote, needed helicopter access. Yeah.
So along this path, because there's no road access along there, they had to get a helicopter to fly out these big chain mesh, like steel mesh things to, like along the Clyde to stop rock falls and stuff.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Yeah, so they had to do that and get guys like abseiling down to like
Put 'em
fix it in. Yeah.
Fuck.
So it was a big effort to create this trail.
Just for the burger. Oi, but imagine this burger joint.
It was all an investment by the burger joint.
They should have just chose a more accessible spot. But also, don't you reckon that so the council workers or whatever that did that would have had to get like extra training just for that?
It was all private contractors.
Huh.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's insane. But yeah, so from there, what was the next part of the journey?
All right, so that's when we headed back to Queenstown. So we did the jet boating Saturday morning.
Yeah.
That weekend. So that was good fun. We went on the K-Jet. It was a bit rough getting to the actual river because it starts kind of like in the big lake, which was a bit of a windy day, so all the waves were choppy and
right,
So, but after we were around the cove and into the river, it kind of smoothened out a bit and was a bit more comfortable.
Yeah,
but that's good fun. We they do some 360 spins and went like pretty close to some hazards.
Yeah.
That's like one of the main selling points of the jet boats is they get really close to crashing. Again, handy to have those waivers.
That's when the waivers come out?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. So, the jet boat, by the way, is this all part of like a package or did you put this all together yourself?
No, so they do have packages.
Yeah.
But every experience you kind of do, you can book separately. So yeah, the jet boats, we book that separately to the escape rooms and the other stuff. But you can get combo packages, which makes it a little bit cheaper. But because what we wanted to do was very specific. Yeah, there wasn't really a tailored package option for that.
Yeah. Well, this was a tailored package.
It was the Taylor package.
Yeah, exactly.
So after we did the jet boating, we then went to the haunted house. So that was quite interesting because
walk through or drive through? What sort of haunted house was it?
It was a walk through.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a
drive through.
Drive through haunted house.
Drive through haunted house.
I don't think that would be safe for the actors. Zombie jumps out in front of you, just put the fucking pedal down.
Fuck off, guys. I think Belco Macca's is a drive through haunted house. You get to the end and they just dive out of the bushes with your food. Oh, fuck. There's like a detour where you have to wait in the waiting bay and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was it was pitch black inside, and all you had to go off was like these little red lights.
Yeah,
that were basically just like they like didn't Christmas emit any lights or anything. They kind of, it was just a little indicator.
Yeah.
Sort of where to go. So it didn't produce any ambient light, so you couldn't see a thing.
Weird.
You just have to follow these little red dots.
Yeah, little LEDs or something.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Just like a weak little red LED.
Like the remote battery when you like with like the little sensor at the top of the remote, the little light that lights up when you push the button.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just little red dots that we had to follow. And there was 4 of us. We had to like keep our hands on each other's shoulders, like sort of conga line sort of thing. And my brother Josh was at the back.
Okay.
Which he hated because they kept on fucking with him. So they were like doing this up his neck and stuff.
The spider hands.
Yeah. And he was like, "Ooh, don't like that." But that was quite entertaining. And then Jack was at the front, and Jack gets very scared very easily.
Yeah.
So, anytime they did a jump scare or something, he'd like literally screamed.
Flo Flanders is.
I was like third in the conga line, and I was just having a great time just laughing at their reactions. Like,
Yeah, it's a show for you, pretty much.
yeah.
So it was you, Josh, Jack, and
my mum.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fucking funny. So the reason I asked if it was a drive-through, because I went to the Royal Easter Show when I was a kid, and they had a haunted house there, but it was like on like a little, kind of like a railway cart, but just like two people instead of like a whole chain.
Okay. Yeah.
And it just used to ride through this thing.
Right.
and
Like an amusement park.
Yeah,
sort of ride. Yeah.
And people would be in the ride, like in the scene, and they would just jump out and like do stuff, right? But it was on a cart.
Yeah.
Thing was, there was like a section at the top. There was like a balcony. It was like a 2-story fucking thing. And at the top, there was a little balcony where the doors would open. Like, you'd see people go through and then into the next part.
Yeah.
And they had a whole bunch of different scenes set up there. But we're sitting back, before we tried it out, we're sitting back and we're watching it. And while we're watching it, you just see like the cart comes out and goes through the other side. And like one of the dudes might have just been swapping sides or something like that.
Yeah.
And they've obviously got internal like doors and shit to get through.
Yeah.
But he just was like, ran out, looked around, was like, oh shit, and ran back inside again. Like one of the people that was part of it.
Just didn't know where he was supposed
I seen
to be.
one that was like the cart went through and the dude was just standing on the back holding onto it. And they were just like, didn't realize that there was just the dude just like using it for free trip, like through the thing. But we end up going on it, and my dad is like really like has quick reflexes, and he's like really reactive to random shit like that.
Yeah.
And
We've got some good reactions from him.
dude, we're going through, and they did that thing like they did to Josh, like they put the hands on there.
Yeah.
But they were wearing like gloves and stuff. So the dude put his hand on Dad's shoulder,
Yeah.
and Dad like grabbed the hand, like just as a reaction. And the dude pulled his hand away so quick, and Dad grabbed the hand so quick that we got to like the end of the ride, and Dad was just holding this like Michael Jackson glove. Like, I think this belongs to someone in there. He like stole his glove, dude.
Oh, that's sick. But yeah, it was funny. We were watching back because they have infrared cameras set up through this maze, so you can sort of rewatch the footage. And we could see the actors moving around in the replay, with the infrared. But they actually had like night vision monocular and stuff,
really?
so they could like see what's going on.
Yeah.
But
Like fucking
but
Splinter
we had
Cell,
no
dude.
idea. Yeah. Yeah, they'd literally just, you'd see them sort of at the front with a monocular, like waiting for us to hit a certain spot before queuing up, whatever.
That's
you know.
insane.
Yeah, it was
Pretty
cool.
crazy the work that goes into it.
Yeah. It was actually a good duration too. Like it lasted a little bit longer than I expected, which was good. You know, get your money's worth.
How long?
I think it was about. Normally it's about 15 minutes, but it went for about 20 because Jack was going very slow.
How cautious?
Yeah.
It must like not having the sensory of sight really fucks you up, hey? Like it like heightens everything else.
Yeah, and there was some points where we had to like stop and do a U-turn, or like other points where we had to. It was kind of hard to find the trail.
Yeah,
and there was like points where we were like standing there stuck, like looking where to go.
Yeah,
and we were sort of figuring out like what are we supposed to do here, and like we kind of thought that we had to backtrack a little bit to go somewhere else. So yeah, the actors had just finished like jump scaring us, and we're just like, do we go that way? And they're like, yes, like getting creepy.
Trying to maintain character.
Yeah. Turn around.
You're standing on my toe. Ow. Yes.
It was so good.
They're like giving you directions. Turn around. You're going the wrong way. Trying to still be creepy at the same time.
Yeah.
You hear them get mad. Like, oh, for fuck's sake. Yes. Yeah, so that's good. Then what was the next step of the journey?
Yeah, so after the haunted house, we went to.
Well, it's fucking heating up in this room. Summertime, eh? This back room of the house.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's getting a bit warm. I'm getting a bit sweaty.
Yeah, I see all the dye of the shirts just going down to the bottom.
It's falling down.
It's just leaking.
Yeah.
It's for the audio listeners, Dave's wearing a shirt that's like the blue is darker at the bottom and lighter at the top. It just looks like it's like tie-dyed with like itself. But yeah, so after the haunted house.
Yeah, so we went to a ice bar then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really cool. There was they give you these cups that are just made of solid ice.
Yeah.
And they put your drink or whatever in there. And once you're done with the cup, they've got a bin where you just like throw them into, but you like throw them against the wall first. And yeah, so you just like, and they're like, it's the only bar you get to smash your glass after you've finished your drink.
Yeah, Thor would like that one, eh? More!
Yeah, it was, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And even though it was like, apparently it was minus 9.9 in there.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like that at all. And there were parts where like, I had my gloves off to take photos and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't really that cold.
Yeah, okay.
And I think it's because there was just no wind.
Yeah.
It was just all
ambient.
still. Yeah. So it felt a lot warmer than what it actually was.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess it just didn't feel colder than it actually was.
Yeah, maybe because it wasn't like, because I used to work in the freezer at Woolies. And out the back was like minus 20 because there's a whole room that's a freezer.
Yeah, right.
Like where they store all the shit.
Yeah.
And in summer, you'd like, I'll work in the freezer today. You go out there and you can stand in there for like 10 minutes with like just your standard stuff on and it's minus 20.
Yeah.
And it's because you came from like a room standard, like even hot area.
Yeah.
To like cold. It takes ages for your body to actually feel cold.
Yeah.
Because you weren't in the cold. Like you can escape it sort of thing.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
You still got the core body heat and you're still quite warm.
Yeah. Whereas if you're like, if you can't escape it, then it kind of sticks with you.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, so it was pretty good.
Did you want to get mad because their drink didn't have ice in it? Imagine just like being like, yeah, can you put ice in this? I said on the rocks.
It's in the rocks.
You get a whiskey in the rocks.
I did actually order a whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was one of the drinks I had, but and I also had like this cocktail. It was like this pineapple juice something cocktail.
Yeah, pina colada.
No, that's coconut, isn't it?
I think it's...
or both, maybe.
I've only been bartending for 10 years at a bar that doesn't do fucking cocktails.
Yeah, it was something called Sunset, I think.
Okay.
Sunset something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice, whatever it was. So after that, I think we just like partied in town for a bit. And we...
Were you still wearing your Victorian era shit? Just getting wild? I think there's a couple of time
The
travels.
overalls weren't very flattering. Yeah, so we went back to the campsite. We were staying at a caravan park in Queenstown.
Yeah.
And we just went back there, got changed, freshened up, went back out to party. Then we just hit like the nightclubs and stuff around.
Yeah.
And we went to this place called Cowboys.
Yeah.
And their slogan under the name is "Buck Me Gently."
Dude, you guys walked into a gay bar for sure.
No, but they actually had a mechanical bull.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
And of course, I signed up to ride the mechanical bull.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted to see how far I'd
It
get,
wasn't
you know,
gentle,
like-
was it?
Oh, mate. It actually, like, it tilts a lot further than you think, you
Yeah.
know? Like, I was at the point where I couldn't lean back anymore, and it was pretty much throwing me forwards
Yeah.
still, you know? Yeah, so... But it was good fun. I think I maybe lasted, like, 6 seconds or something.
That's so wild. And it would have felt like a lot longer than that, hey? Like when you're on it.
Yeah. Watching back the footage, it was it was pretty disappointing. But yeah, I pretty much just went forward, back, turn, and I fell off.
Yeah, right. Fuck.
Yeah.
I want to see a professional bull rider on one of those. To see whether how long they last. Because I feel like the mechanical ones can hit angles that an actual bull can't, like as quickly.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like I reckon the mechanical ones actually probably, because they're programmed to be more vigorous or whatever.
Yeah.
They can sort of like a bull is just luck of the draw, right? But like a mechanical bull, it could like just go from 0 to 100 like straight away.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Did you see that video? Do you remember a guy in my year called James Hamilton?
No.
So there's this guy in high school that wanted to do bull riding.
Oh, yeah.
He went to the
Maria Rodeo.
The Maria Rodeo, dude. And he was on there for like 3 seconds, but his fucking foot got stuck in the stirrup.
Oh, fuck.
Or wherever it was, like
Yeah,
the rope or whatever.
yeah.
And it fucking dragged him around the thing for like as long as he was on it. He was getting dragged by it. And then he like... And the audience is like... It's like his first time. So the audience is like, yeah, whoa. And then like as soon as it's dragging him, they're like, oh... Yeah, he came to school with like a black eye and like a fucking cracked rib and a broken ankle. And was like, how's bull riding going, James? I'll put it up. Like it's, I think it's called like Maria Rodeo James Hamilton or something. Fuck
it's
it.
a video.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah. I'll see if I can dig it up for this episode.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, no, it's. So from there, was there anyone that gave it a crack that lasted for ages?
There was a few people that lasted a decent amount of time, but
Yeah.
the majority of people were off sort of the first few seconds.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. But yeah, it was a pretty cool vibe there. They had like bison heads mounted to the wall and stuff, like stuffed.
Yeah.
You know, like, and deer and they had like a bear. Just cause, you know. Like
It sounds like it's a sort of bar where
taxidermy
you would be
bear.
considered a bear.
No, there was a few females there. It was actually funny because there was a hens night.
Oh, yeah.
There was actually, I think there would have been about 3 hens nights that we saw, separate hens nights in Queenstown that night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But this hens party went to try the bull out.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were just like, it was just funny watching all these wasted chicks jump on the bull and fall off instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Do you reckon that they obviously have settings, right? Like I've seen some people that are on it where it's like pretty tame.
Yeah.
So they probably didn't turn it up full tilt.
No, I think the longer
For
you're on
everybody.
it, the harder they make it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So yeah, they'd have like an intensity
Setting,
sort of
yeah.
thing,
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. So after that, so that was that area. Then from there, what was the next step?
So I think that's all we did in Queenstown.
Yeah.
I know we did do another escape room there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one was the Saw themed.
Oh, okay.
So it was at Kingpin.
Yep.
And like we've got a Kingpin in Canberra here, but they've got one in Queenstown
Yep.
as well. But yeah, it was a Saw themed one where they had like sinks full of fake blood and like decapitated people and like dummies and stuff like that. And
What, decapitated people? So just bodies with no heads?
yeah, that's all the people that never got through the escape room.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that's what, like, in the Saw game that I had on, that I streamed, that's pretty much what they had as well. Like, just, you go into a room and there's just, like, a body with, like, a contraption where the head was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's pretty cool, though. Like,
Yeah.
Because I often thought that, like, the Saw games would have made a good escape room, because that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
Escape rooms seem to be fucking loosely based on the Saw thing.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. But this one was quite good. They had this one part which I found particularly interesting. There was like an exposed wire coming out of a pipe on one side of the room, and it was like just on the ground, coiled kind of loosely on the ground. It was like a few meters of wire.
Yeah.
And at the end was just like, the exposed wire.
Yeah.
And then you found out after unlocking an electrical box on the other side of the room, you had to actually bring that wire over and connect it to something and then like flip a bunch of switches in the right order or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that was... I don't know if it was live electricity going through that wire. I'm not sure how they would have done it without live electricity going through that wire. But
True. I mean, maybe low voltage, but
Maybe,
or there's
yeah.
someone that's waiting to see if it's connected and just presses the button. Like they
Yeah,
usually have
maybe.
monitors on those rooms, like people watching all the
yeah,
time.
yeah, they give you hints if you need them.
Yeah, like the fucking,
Yeah.
like the horror thing.
Yeah.
Like when, just like, yes. It's like I did an escape room with Jack, like before, because all three of us did one, but
Yeah.
before that, Jack and I did one. And I remember once, like in the one that Jack and I did, I don't know if you know the story, but what happened was when they reset the room from the last people, there was like all these photos in a photo album,
Yeah.
and they need to be in a certain order.
Right.
And the clues are in the order in which you look at the photos. Like it'll be like it has nothing to do with the actual photo album.
Okay.
And there's nothing, if you pull the photos out, there's nothing written on the back or anything. Like
Yeah.
it's just literally the order in which the photos are in the album is
Yeah.
the order of which you need to like solve a puzzle.
Yeah.
But the people before us pulled all the photos out of the album and then didn't know which order they were in, so they couldn't solve the puzzle. Problem was when they
Destroyed their own hint.
reset the room, they didn't put them back in the right order.
Yeah, right.
So Jack and I were doing the fucking puzzle,
Yeah.
and
it wasn't working.
and it wasn't working.
Yeah.
So the guy starts off like, think about it like this, and then we're like, okay, and then we're like, it didn't work, and he's like,
that's what we're doing.
think about it like this.
Yeah.
Maybe something like this, trying to give us clues.
Yeah.
And we eventually just did process of elimination and worked out the right way to do it.
Yeah.
But it took up like 4 or 5 times longer than it was meant to.
Yeah.
So we get to the end, and when they were doing the breakdown, the dude was just like, yeah, you spent like 4 times more on this one, and all you needed to do was look at the order. And then he pulls the photo album up to like show us, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, hang on. And then he looks at me
hang
and
on.
Jack goes,
That's all right.
how did you work this out? We're just like, the fucking brute forced it, dude. Like, he was just like, because we went like 2 minutes over the hour,
Yeah.
and he was like, oh, if you guys did that, you would have been in like heaps under, like
Yeah.
probably like 10 minutes under.
Yeah, right.
So he literally was just like, well, look, you didn't finish in an hour, but you could tell people you did, because like there's no fucking way that most people would have done that. So that was pretty cool. One of them, he was trying to give cues,
Yeah.
and then he literally was just like, think about, what about this? And then eventually it just said like, it's 6. The answer is 6. Like he just got sick of us like trying to work it out. He just was like, it's fucking this number. Like just move on to it's 6. Fucking fuck.
Hurry up. It's 6.
Yeah.
Let's go. Show on the road.
Oh, fuck. Lollygagging around. It's 6. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, but I find it interesting. They always seem to know how long puzzles will take, like to get it to round about an hour for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting that. But for all those escape room nerds out there, the Saw one that we did was a level 7. Which only had a 25% pass rate.
Yeah.
And we had at least 2 people on our team that were not helping, but rather making it harder for everyone else.
How many was there in total?
There was 5 of us in total.
Yeah.
So me, Josh, and Jack did most of the good stuff.
Yeah.
Mum did find a key here and there.
Yeah.
You know, like, but it was funny because they had these. They like when they did the briefing, they said there's a bunch of stuff that you're not supposed to touch, and you know if it's got a sticker on it that says "Do not touch," then don't touch it.
Yeah.
And we kick off, and Mum's like, "Oh, what's this one? Oh, what's this hand symbol mean?" And it's like, that's a sticker with a hand and a big line going through it. That means don't touch it, Mum. And then she did that like 2 more times. They had the exact same fucking sticker, and she's still like, "Oh, maybe it's this." I'm like, "No, it's not that, Mum."
Maybe we need to touch this. This one's really speaking to me. That's pretty funny. It's a bit like I think it might have been the one that we did. So the one that you and Jack did.
Is that Salem?
Yeah, and they were talking about how like someone previously tore up like a section of the floor, and they had to be like, "No, stop!" Like one of the floorboards was like loose,
Yeah.
so they thought it was like a clue, and they fucking like tore out a whole section of the floor. Yeah.
There's a secret passage under here
It's a
somewhere.
secret
I know
passage,
it.
You know your escape room's going bad when you like stumble on the fucking team break room. So I'm just sitting there eating Subway. You're like, "Oh fuck, this is like not where I'm meant to be."
Or you go into the room with all the cameras and just like
You stumble on the 4th floor. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like some dude just in there watching you. Think.
He just like gets off the mic and just gets a megaphone. Go back.
Go through this door. If you get to me, you've gone too far. If there's a guy sitting there on the computer, you've gone the wrong way. That's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love escape rooms. I'm going to have to do another one at some point.
Yeah, they're good fun.
Yeah. The worst thing is you can't do it more than once. Like, it ruins it after once. Like, do you know what? I think
Unless you haven't done it for a couple of years and don't remember any of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Then
Just
you
do
might be
it
able to
blind
redo it.
drunk. You don't remember.
Just go in there, fucking happen.
Yeah, just smash
Set a
them.
new challenge for yourself.
you finish the escape room, and then you just give yourself a brain injury and do it again. It just gets harder every time.
Just get amnesia or something.
Yeah, fuck.
So after that, we one of my final stops was at Invercargill, and they've got this place called Dig This Invercargill.
Yeah.
And it's a heavy vehicle playground.
Right.
So that means like excavators, bulldozers, mini diggers, all of that kind of stuff. They've got it there, and they let you drive it for a fee or whatever, and you can buy different experiences. One of them was you got to crush a car with an excavator.
Fuck yes.
So naturally I bought that because I've just been dreaming of doing that since I was a child. And yeah, that was freaking awesome. Just being behind the wheel of this like 30-ton excavator or whatever. You know, and just like bringing up the arm and the bucket and then just driving it down on top of this car. And just like pulverizing it.
It's like newer than your car. You're like, oh, fuck.
Oh, dude, I was like born for the job. It was the guy at the end actually said, "This is the flattest car I've ever seen." After this, and I finished 15 minutes early.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like methodically, any bit that was a little bit higher than the rest, just raise the arm up and bring it down full power and just like squash it.
Fuck
And I just did that.
Natural born car.
And literally the entire car by the end of it was about this thick.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Off the ground. Like that's how flat I got
You
it.
could like post it.
Yeah.
That's insane. So, do they just have cars ready to crush? Like,
Yeah, they've got it. They've got a yard, so they've got to do a couple of safety things before they do it. Like they have to get the car battery out.
Yeah.
They have to empty the fuel tank.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And take off the wheels and that kind of thing. But it's still got glass windows in there and everything.
Yeah.
It's still got headlights and but it was good fun. Yeah, just fucking smashing the car.
how would someone feel that's their full-time job and people use it as like a tourist attraction?
Oh man, I wish that was my full-time job.
Yeah.
That would be one of the funnest jobs.
Do you reckon anyone ever you'd get sick of it eventually, right? Like,
I don't think I would. I'm very entertained by destruction. That's why, I love seeing floods and earthquakes and stuff like that. I'm like, fuck yeah, look at the power of that. It's unfortunate for the people.
You just remembered I'm recording this.
Man, I hope that's not a trigger for anyone whose house got flooded or something. But no, for some reason, I just love seeing the destructive force of nature. It's like thunderstorms and stuff. I love the sound of thunder. Something about it.
You like the power.
Yeah, I'm just drawn to destruction.
Yeah.
So being able to just destroy, pulverize a car with an excavator.
Yeah. But it's also helpful, right? Because it goes into construction of other shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the end of a life cycle.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh fuck it, they call it what you want.
For those who don't know what an excavator is, it's the giant digger with scoop. They put all sorts of things on it, but the big digger with the tracks. That drives like a tank. Yeah.
And what'd you say, 60 ton?
I don't know how many tons it was, but it was a standard size excavator, so a full size.
They're massive, eh?
Yeah, it's not like one of those mini diggers that you hire for your backyard garden project. You know? It's like a proper construction site,
dams and shit.
Yeah, build roads and that kind of thing. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I'm glad that someone thought of that as something to offer to people.
Oh yeah, it was so fun. And it's funny. It's when they were sort of giving the information, they told you it was one of only 2 in the world. The other one's at Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And it is run by a New Zealand guy that he actually runs them both, but I think he runs them both anyway.
Yeah, okay.
But the one in Las Vegas is owned by a New Zealand guy that set it up there as a tourist attraction.
Nice.
So it's one of 2 places in the world you get to pay to just drive a massive excavator and crush cars and shit.
Fuck yeah.
It's good fun.
Yeah, it sounds like a fucking cool trip. Now, if anyone wants to see any of this stuff, eventually you should follow the Colvie channel on YouTube, which I'll put up as one of the tiles at the end of this video if you're watching on YouTube. Because there might be some videos and stuff coming up there at some point. So but I know Colvie's got a bunch of Dave is Colvie has a whole bunch of videos from the trip. So keep an eye out from that.
And there's a bit of stuff uploaded to my Instagram as well. If you just look up at Colvie_channel, you'll see some photos from the trip.
Be able to see some videos. Plus, you got other content as well, like cool videos and shit.
On my
now,
channel.
Before we fucking leave, I've had this in the bank for a while. I've been saving it.
All right, what have we got?
This is the most tame and legal video that I could dig up. Watch this.
All right.
It's a segment I like to call Super Mario Kart. Belco edition.
Hold on. So on the left You've got me. And then on the right, you've got a stranger.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
that's as wild as Dave's road antics get.
Yeah, it doesn't go above that. Trust me.
Yeah, it's a little something I whipped up when I was trying to fuck around with video editing. I'll overlay the actual video there.
Yeah.
But there you go.
That's gold. Yeah, that's me in the blue Subi.
Yeah. Wait, how good is it? You can street race under the speed limit if you just play your cards right.
Yeah.
You don't need.
You just accelerate up to the speed limit as fast as possible.
Yeah. It's not really street racing. It's just street efficiency.
It's kind of like a drag race, but to hit the mark. But the mark is just hitting that speed.
Yeah, exactly. It's the blue collar street racing.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah! All right, well that's a good way to wrap it up. Let's call it at that. Thanks for being on the show.
All right, no worries. Thank you for having me.
Yep, and
thanks to all the viewers and listeners.
yeah, so thanks like 3 people. There's probably as many people in the room as what's watching. So yep, 2 and 2. From our 2 people to you 2 people, thank you for watching.
Don't
Cheers.
buy me a drink.
Just name names.
Yeah, right. Big Tony. You'll get fucking thrown out of the strip club with your floppy disk.
All day.
Make people feel shame for shit all day.
Don't blow
Turn it
it.
into a hard drive.
Yeah, right. You'll get fucking
We're here
Keep it simple. Count your money.
that they're not proud of.
Just give me $10.
All right.